Hey, good evening. Here we are again. Another week went by and it's unbelievable. It's Thursday again and we are back with a live stream. And yeah, I hope all is well. And here everything is busy. As expected, we are very busy with BLUE-II. And just this one is a sound I created today. Using BLUE-II. Yeah, there's of course the plan to start beta testing, but this is not yet possible because we don't have the final user interface. This has to do with the graphics, and the current version definitely doesn't look good enough to show you guys. And this is, for instance, what I can show you is the current the manager, and you see here we have all the original BLUE-II presets, but you see this is a mock-up. But this pad is called scrape pad because it scrapes in the high frequencies. Yeah, and then today I created this one, Dark Matter version 1, and this is a very eerie sound. Listen to this one, especially if you play very low. Something for a horror movie, isn't it? Or this one, Dark Matter 2. So these are mainly new presets. Sometimes you see something else in between. In the meantime, yeah, guys, we are focusing on having BLUE-II ready at the end of this month. And then, of course, for the Explorer 6 users, that's good news because they can download again Explorer 6 or the BLUE-II installer and have a very nice new product. Let me see. I'm going to chat room. Yes. I need to. Let's see. Okay. Yeah. Now you see my chat room. So everybody is there. Cool. D-pad, yeah, it's a nice sound. This is really eerie. Okay. Oh yeah, here it is again. And this is also a cool one. Quantize X-Bell. That's the cool thing about BLUE-II. It is additive synthesis in a different way. And we will have two modes inside of it. When I would go to the, give me 1 second if I can open this. Okay, I need to switch a few screens here. And so give me 1 second. There's quite some images. We go to BLUE-II, and this is the image from the designer, and I showed this one already. So this is the easy page. So if you're not too deep into synthesis, there will be an easy page. And the second mode BLUE-II will have is this additive mode. And in fact, you can see the additive mode. So you have A, B, C, and D, 4 additive waveforms, which you can edit and go by using the XY, go between them. So there's an additional additive mode inside BLUE-II. So the harmonizer is, of course, the original one. Then you see we have an oscillator, an extra oscillator, which is an oscillator from B.I.T. So for additional body of the sound, and a noise module. So in terms of synthesis, it's far more expanded. And so if I go back to this preset, okay, Oh, yes, I need to open again the live stream. Okay. So, for instance, this pad you heard, this scrape pad, has this pad sound is more from this oscillator part, and this metallic thing going on is from the harmolator or the additive. So yeah, I'm not sure. I'm here some presets. Yeah, you see, very good for pad sounds. It's very a glass mem. Okay, my keyboard. You hear my keyboard? So it's very different in sound compared to our other synthesizers. Let's see if I have a Rode 2 blade. I'm not sure what that one was. Oh, that's a bit like a really nice synth sound. And I had this one, which was a kind of vibe sound. Yeah, and last week I played a few of the, what is this one? Yeah, and this is also a cool one, the synth, it's called. So we have the additive synthesis, but there's also, of course, a very good filter on board, so you can combine things. Yeah, and very mellow synth sounds. This is a very mellow sound. Yeah, it's so it's we have in good progress. Okay, I'm gonna put this button back. Check in the chat room. I can see Sangina project. I still butcher it. Is also in the chat room. He did send me some new presets. I haven't had the time to check it up. Hopefully they will pop up very soon, and so I'm looking forward for these presets. And of course, he's always so kind to share them. So most likely they will pop up in the early presets bank. Yeah, I had another sound I like to play. Okay, so I'm going back. So here's again the ugly bank manager. I had a sequence sound which was nice today. That's not the sequence sound. Oh, let's see where it is. Space Arp, we had these already. It's more bass sound. Of course, you need to have a kind of a groove behind it to have it. But that was another one. A typical blade sound. This is. That's not the one I was looking for. Yeah, the ratcheting arp. And it's a very extensive arpeggiator. It's much, you have arp A, arp B, ratcheting inside. You can control the X and Y position but for each step, which is done in this one. Okay. I need to check if I can combine this. It's a bit nice if you have combined this with a bit of a background music. Let's see if we have something. I'm not sure. Has a nice how you say that sound which mixes nice. So let's see if I maybe have a bit of so these are the first presets I created myself, and there's more to follow. And let's see if there's another one. What we had. Well, Distant Planet Core, then you hear. I thought that one had the noise, but we have also this noise module. No, this is still another one, but it's a nice one. This one is called Melting Stone Band. That's from yesterday. So you can hear it makes really different sounds. It will not be a easy synthesizer from certain aspects, but then, sometimes you need something more complex to create complex sounds which are different from anything else. It's not an EDM synthesizer, although if you look, for instance, for Psytrance, we have a very nice bank, which is also in the original Blade. Let's see, it's Scope. Some very interesting sounds. Typically Psytrance sound. And they have cool if you combine that with the sequence. Let's play this with the sequence. Okay. Which tone is it? I don't recall. It's also typical Psytrance sound. Listen. Cool, isn't it? So also, and of course, some of the engine improves. So the audio quality is even better with BLUE-II compared to the original Blade. We did some tweaks, which we could do now because, the CPU is not a issue anymore compared to 8 years ago. So it has an improved reverb quality and that kind of thing, which you, I think, already heard in the introduction bank. If you go to this Let's see, where's this sound again? This block noise. So high quality reverb is on board. Okay, so yeah, that's about BLUE-II. So it's in progress. Hopefully we can beta test in about over a week so that we check if everything is working in all the kind of host. I'm checking now the let me see the chat room. Okay, yeah, last week we had this discussion about this hands up track, and before I went online, I recorded it, and I'm not sure what you guys heard inside of it. If I listen to the first sound of this track, so this is a YouTube track, a early 80s song, a disco, a summer song, and I listened to the first lead sound, and I had no clue. Let's listen to this. It's a kind of, to my impression, it's a kind of flute which is maybe distorted, but it's this lead sound. Well, listen to this. It's not my cup of tea in terms of music, but it's all about the sound. Now that's a Wurlitzer or Fender. This sound. Yeah, it's a flute. Yeah, it's a typical sound. I never noticed this because I know this track, of course, from my youth. It sounds like two sounds together, so I will put it a bit louder. Let's see, play it again. And nose flute. A Chinese flute, yeah, maybe it's. I would say it's almost as if they recorded a normal flute, but then over distortion. Or it's a stacking sound. It's very odd. Yeah, at that time there were no samples. In 1981 it was, so it was an acoustic instrument. But what it was and how it was recorded, that messed up the thing. So let's play it once. I really tried to analyze, but yeah, definitely two sounds. Most likely, also a synthesizer in the background. So a flute with a synthesizer. That's what my impression is, because you hear this little riddle at the end. So, and we were, of course, in B.I.T last time, and synth leads. We had this visual. Something like that. Yeah, I'm not playing it. Well, if somebody makes ever a dance remix of it, or I don't know, here's some sounds which you could use. Yeah, maybe indeed. Maybe it is the mellotron with the synthesizer in the background. Also could be, although the mellotron flutes were very slowly. It's a sound I have no clue. Yeah, sounds with a heavily blown panpipes, yeah, and then with heavy distortion. But if let's play it again, you really hear a second one playing because that one plays a bit different. Let's see. It sounds like two sounds, but still I think it's just one. Maybe it's a flute with a distortion. It's so funny. But anyhow, this track, later on, it really goes wild. Somebody was playing around with the synthesizer, so I recorded that also because I thought, yeah, that was funny. Listen to the about 3 minutes in this track, what they do with the sound effects, with the synthesizer. Listen. Yeah, you can hear they get a bit wild in the middle of the song. Put some synthesizer effects on it. Yeah, cool. It's yeah. So that about last week and about this this funny sound. And we still don't know what they use, but yeah, maybe somebody mentioned maybe you should play a different octave later. No, lost the track. But it sounded definitely a bit like a distorted flute in some way. Okay, yeah, laser guns. Yeah, if you maybe have an idea about a sound which you liked, heard in a record, yeah, we always can look into this. We had last week the very nice commercial, TV commercial about a car, which has some very nice sounds, which we created last week. And so if something pops up in your mind, yeah, we can do this. Okay. I'm checking the chat room here. So we did cover this. Okay, I'm gonna mute it. X-File flutes. Okay. So let's go back to B.I.T. So what should we do today? Let me know in the chat room if you maybe have something in your mind or want to know something about certain areas in our synthesizers. Modern FM house bass. Okay. Yeah, then we need to listen also to a few tracks. Of course, with BLUE-II, we have a lot of basses, which are, let's see, if we go to BLUE-II, add track, I add an instrument. And if we go here to the bank manager, go to the digital basses. You have typically so what is typically with the FM synthesis, of course, the attack you can produce. So here you can see D, E, and F. Let's make it a bit lower. And they influence each other. That's what makes it, of course, a bit harder. You see, and by simply, so go back to the original, I have the Philly bass. And here you see 3 oscillators used. And if I change only D, because each oscillator have its own envelope. So D modulates oscillator E, and the oscillator E modulates again F, and F goes out. So F starts with a sinus waveform. And then D adds really the click to it. But if you go to D and make this decay, then you got a bit of this slap bass already somebody mentions. And D, it has here velocity control inside of it. So this is a typically FM type of sound. And if you and the difficult thing with FM synthesis, if you change now this tuning or ratio, okay, so this is a typical slap type of FM type of sound. Yeah, if somebody could send me the track which you would like to hear. Maybe it's an original DX7 preset. It well could be. You see, that's why we added here inside the oscillators this velocity control, because the volume has influence on the sound. And if you can make this dynamically responding to your velocity, then of course you get this dynamic sound. I'm a bit too loud. Okay, so yeah, that's the difficult thing with FM synthesis. It's not easy, and sometimes a few little things make a difference. So if you go to the so this is more a DX7 bass. I'm in the wrong key, but this is a bit of a slap bass. Different character in the sound. So it's a TXX bass, and here if you have this preset and you think, okay, could be maybe a bit different, yeah, all you need to do is trigger a bit of the volumes of the modulating oscillator. So here again is D and E. So now this makes it more bassy. Yeah, you can make it. This is if you go, you see in the algorithm, you see this that D modulates E and E modulates F. If you only use F, you have a sub bass. You hear that? And E adds a bit of overtone, and D even more. So, and by just changing volumes. Can go over the top, of course, or by using the velocity. And of course, what has influence is the envelopes, because D and E have their own envelopes, volume envelopes. That's of course what is with the DX7. You have then the operator, which has its own envelopes, and that's the same. You see, each oscillator of BLUE-II has its own envelope. So yeah, really, and then by changing the pitch, it can go wild or totally wrong. You see, you have a totally different sound. Yeah, it hurts. Original, and now edited. So you see, it's totally, that's the cool thing about FM synthesis, is that with little changes, sometimes you run into nice bass. So let's go to a different one. And it's all in the banks called digital basses, which are essentially FM type of basses. This one uses a real bass. I think with that one is very dirty. 1.7 bass. Oh, that's really that one is, if you would put that in this music, let's play it again. A bass playing. Yeah, that's a nice one. So if you have this bass, you see here again, it seems to be that here it's FM use combined with subtractive, because you see C, D, E, and F. This is a lineup for FM synthesis. And oscillator A goes out, and oscillator A is a square waveform, goes out to the filter. So if I shut down F, you hear that this is a square waveform. This is like subtractive. So that's the cool thing about BLUE-II. You combine the best of both worlds. So you have the body and the sound of the virtual analog sound combined with a FM sound. What you need to know about bass is that it's very often also a matter of volume. So now it's very loud, but that makes it also give the impression, if I would play it soft, then it's of course also a different impression. So balance in the mix is very important, because there's another bass playing inside of this one, which is sub-moon bass. Let me see where it is. Oh, it's this one. So if I play that, not anymore. Of course, I need to time better. And this one has also legato mode. And that's also cool if you go to the play mode. You see here's the play mode, it's legato, and you could also use held rate. So if you play legato, it gets, maybe I can held time. So that's cool if you then would play. Okay, let me see if I can play it the right way. I need to quantize because my playing was with the left hand, not as tight. So I quantize it, and you really hear that the legato makes a kind of subgroove to it. So if I, okay, you can see that I'm here, do some little editing. Let's see if what I did nice. So this legato mode is really for making these, yeah, the lower weird. This legato tone really makes it, yeah, give it a different feel. Okay. And then if you play legato, it does this glide. It's not, of course, not what I mean to say is not that this is now useful musical, but you can do some weird and different type of grooves which are in the background, and then yeah, that's make it, yeah, it gives it a totally different feel. So maybe I can adjust it even a little bit more. So I'm in editing now. I don't know if you can see it, what I'm doing here. So it's here, this bass. I move it around here. And I use this legato and the glide mode to do some, yeah, some typical grooves in the bass. So now by changing the time, now it's even darker. So what I did is going with sustain from the filter envelope a bit lower so that the bass goes lower in the frequency, the cutoff frequency. So, okay, 1 second. So here. And then it gets even more darker if you play legato. So let's try that again. And I'm only having the one oscillator now. Okay, where is it? Yeah, and maybe the held time is a bit too long. Here you go a bit back for the glide. When I play this same now with mono mode, then you hear the big difference. What this whole play mode can be very creative part. So in mono, it triggers each note, so you get this. Okay, where is it? Now legato. Yeah, it's so this mono mode means that you see it re-triggers each time this envelope. So let's make it a bit more. So each time it starts this envelope. And in legato mode, it starts this envelope once I release all the keys. So when so it finishes the envelope, so it doesn't re-trigger the envelope. So this meow is just once, as long as I hold the so legato is really a different mode, and so for bass it's very interesting. And it came originally, of course, from this mini moog, which was a mono. This mini moog behind me was mono, and it had no. It had, in the classic way, the legato mode. So therefore, in the mini moog, you can do this. So okay, let's shut down my keyboard. So I play now in legato, this bass thing. You hear this gliding, what I do with the keyboard? If I would have the mono mode, you would get this. So therefore you need this legato mode, which was standard on the mini moog. So you need to let go the keyboard, and then it re-triggers the envelope. And then you get this cool, things what you can do. And what also was heard in the 70s and the 80s with some of the funk bands or disco bands which use the mini moog, that you hear that they did this this nice gliding thing. Okay, so this is a bit of sidetracking on BLUE-II and the digital basses. Yeah, indeed. Somebody mentioned it's also cool for emulation of acoustic basses. Yeah, there's a great preset by Jamal in the introduction bank, and he fretless bass Jamal. If you go to this preset, you see legato, and he also has portamento on held time and very long. So if you play, it's a bit like a real. Let's play it a bit louder. So if I play legato. Yeah, cool, isn't it, this whole legato? And of course also with mini moog style leads, if we would go to, excuse me, to B.I.T, there I use it also in the lead synth leads. No, with this one maybe. You see here the play mode is here on the upper right, legato. So really use it as an expression. So you play not legato and legato together. Yeah, the people ask me what I think about Depeche Mode. Yeah, sure. I mean, when they came out with People Are People, that was cool at that time. Definitely a big Depeche Mode fan. Okay, so this about this legato thing. And you will find it in all products, the different modes, and even with B.I.T, we have the mode that the legato can respond on the highest note or the lowest note. So I'm checking the chat room. Yeah, I played in the beginning a bit of a BLUE-II. In case you missed it, you always can watch it back. The live streams are in the playlist, live stream. If you like the live stream, give it a thumbs up. You always can send in a request for a sound, and if we can reproduce that, it's always a fun part. And of course, we had this disco track, Hands On, which has a lead sound which is hard to analyze what they use at that time, but yeah, that's cool to look into this. So maybe you have a question about one particular product, a part which you don't understand, or maybe you like to expand on that. Okay, somebody has a question. I like to ask for your alternative than LFO envelope ways to add movement to sound. What could be is, of course, the aftertouch. If you have a keyboard with aftertouch, if I hit it harder, the vibrato kicks in. You hear that? You also could do this, so here in the play mode, pitch LFO, you see, it has a certain amount. The pitch LFO, I can increase it. Or you can have the amount control, which is modulation wheel, this one, or aftertouch. Another thing is, of course, if you have this, I'm not sure if you can see this, guys. Let me see if you can see this. My keyboard on the left side is a controller expression, it's called. So if your synthesizer have maybe such a ribbon type controller like this here, you can address it. So if I go back to B.I.T, you can do that in any of our synthesizers. You go to MIDI source, and if I'm not wrong, it's MIDI controller 23 or something like that, or 6 expression it is. Yeah, this one. And then I could say, okay, control the filter with it. Let's see if that works. See, I'll put it on the filter. Other things to, a random, somebody's a good note, random note. That's also something which can add some movement. So if I go here and go to, let's see if we can have a random in MIDI. This MIDI source is random note 1. So on the filter, random node 1 and random node 2. I don't know what is the difference between them. Maybe it's only unipolar, so only one direction. Of course, it's too much, but that could make. So yeah, the MIDI is a nice thing to add more dynamic changes to the sound. So you can use it on velocity. What I do, for instance, with bass is, if you go here to bass, if you go to my presets, you notice that on the velocity on the amplifier is just a tiny bit, and there is a no, this is not a good example. Yeah, this one, no velocity on the amp. because with a bass, you want to have it steady in your mix. Sometimes people use compressors to dynamic down or to limit down the dynamics of a bass. And of course, we use synthesizers, so on the volume, I can shut down the velocity. And still to have expression, I simply add velocity in the filter. So, because listen to this. Now, this one has a bit of noise, but it doesn't matter. So, for instance, maybe you hear a bass in a different synthesizer and you think, okay, this is a nice sound, but it has so much difference in volume. Like this. Play soft, play hard. Then simply go look in the amp section if there is a velocity control, bring it back for the bass. Then you have a far more steady bass in low end. And still, if you add in a bit of velocity to the filter, you still have expression. So the basic of the sound is very steady in volume, but still it has expression because you have velocity in the filter. So that's the same thing you could do with an ARP sound. If you notice in one of your synthesizers that the ARP sound is interesting, but it has too much of a difference in volume, yeah, you can see if you can bring back the velocity response on the volume, which is in our synthesizer always in the amp section. You see it here, velocity on volume. That makes really a huge difference. So, so if you go to the arpeggiator sounds, let's see. Just a no. Oh, there's app sound. No, I mean arpeggiator sounds. Stupid me. Where is it? Here. Sorry. Let's see if I take a good sound for this. You see here we have some velocity. I can make it a bit more. But it's only on the filter. If I shut it down here, so filter 1. And now I use the velocity on the filter. If I would have this only volume, listen what happens. Could be interesting, but if it would be a bass, maybe not so handy because it's too much of a... See here on 7. That's a cool thing. The free row, some people ask, what is this free row? You see here, free row is used to the oscillator semi. Interesting. So the semitone is up here. It's in sync, oscillator sync. Oh no, it's in the, not in sync. Oh, is it? No, it's just jumping a bit in the semi on one step. You could also use it for controlling. Okay, so if I pick here again the sequence of free row. Okay, where am I? Sequence of free row. I can use that one to control the FX. For instance, the delay. What shall we take? The delay mix. Where is it? Oh, it's too short. Yeah, I'm mapping it, but it's not having the results, which I... Not really in this sound, but it's possible. You're too fast. Yeah. It could be the speed of the arpeggio rate is twice the speed, so now you can hear it. Jumps in. You hear the expression with velocity. That's of course cool. What you can do if you have a preset, simply go to another one, change the velocity of these tabs and add it to the filter. You suddenly have a different sound. Cool, isn't it? And then the modulation wheel, of course, here in the filter. Yeah, so this about expression what you could use. Okay, I'm checking the chat room. Okay, we are almost at the end of the hour, and we have this time not really presets. I forgot to save this preset from BLUE-II with the basses, but go to this digital bass banks in BLUE-II. So we were here to this manager, digital basses, and simply click what is active, A, B, C, and D. You see the algorithm, and simply turn these dials. So change the envelopes a bit, volumes. You run in so many different bases. You see, go here to the algorithm. You see C, D, E, F modulates F, and D, E, F are used. So if I go to D and E for the envelopes, D, I can change it here. I can change the volume, and you suddenly have a different bass. Don't be afraid in editing these sounds. And as mentioned, here in D we have the velocity control, so you could make it also dynamic. The harder you hit, the harder it gets. Or in this E. Or change the so simply by editing one of the digital basses, so the tuning of the ones which are used, not the one which is the last one in order. So don't change the tuning of F, because F goes out. F is the, let's say, the default pitch, and it's modulated by E and D. But if you change here the pitch of E and D, because they are modulating, it changes the sound, and also the volume changes the sound, and the envelope changes the sound. So give it a try with BLUE-II, and let me know next week if that works out. And okay, and somebody again is asking for some old style drum Soundmaster drums. Yeah, that's maybe a good idea to. Currently we are too busy with BLUE-II, but that's something which would pop up maybe in the future. Anyhow, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Most likely we'll see each other next week, and of course, I will mention this on Twitter and also in YouTube. There's a community page on YouTube where I mentioned this. And in case you're a bit too late, you always can watch it back. And I would say enjoy creating music, stay safe, and see you very soon. And I will end with this eerie sound from BLUE-II. That's maybe nice to play that one again. This very strange sound we had. Okay, let's was selected, of course. It's not the one. Let's see where it is. That doesn't open. Okay, manager. Okay, so we end with this eerie sound, which is called dark matter.